You're listening to Truly Unruly with Marcus and Jessica Trufant. Well, let's get started. It's Truly Unruly with Marcus and Jessica Trufant. My name is Kel. That's Jessica.
Actually. Okay, yeah. That's me.
Yeah, that's her. We have no Marcus today. As we all know, today is NFL draft day. And so he's doing NFL draft stuff.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, today's the draft. You didn't know that?
No.
Gee. Oh, okay.
Well, I care for what reason?
Your husband isn't home because he's doing NFL draft stuff.
Oh, okay.
But today, this is cool because Jess and I can have a really cool one-on-one conversation because she has had a lot going on mentally, spiritually, and I just want to talk to you a little more in depth about it. So
yeah.
Over the last, would you say now the last year or 2 years? What would you say, 2 years?
3.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
So the last 3 years, you have had a spiritual awakening, which a lot of us people that are very spiritual, we have them. I remember having mine in 2011, I believe. And for you folks that don't understand what this means, and you might be like, oh, this is woo, woo, woo. No, it's when you have this moment where the back of your head opens up. I swear to God, it feels like the back of your head's open up and you're getting dumped all this information and then everything makes sense. I feel like that's the simple way to explain it.
Yeah, it is. I think it's kind of like an unmasking of who you truly are and all of that kind of stuff. A spiritual awakening. I mean, you can call it spiritual. You can really call it whatever you want. You can even call it, for me at my age, you can call it a midlife crisis. It's kind of, or a midlife awakening. It's kind of however you want to frame it. And like you said, Kel, some people say, oh, I had this happen to me in my 20s. And yes. But what did you do with the experience? What happened with the knowledge gained? What did you learn about yourself? What has changed?
Right.
And that is the difference between a spiritual awakening and what I went through. This is an embodied change. I am not the same person. I am the same person, but I am not the same person. Ask my husband.
Right. So how do you feel, Jess, this is these last 3 years, do you feel like you see the world in this new place in a sense of do you feel more connected to the world and feel more connected to society, or do you feel more disconnected? Almost you feel like you're looking at life from up and down, right? You're looking down on it. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel? How are you feeling in that regard?
I don't know. So kind of what happened, because it's been a process. I first started working on myself. I became aware of, I was really in a really bad space a few years ago after COVID. And, that's why I sent you that text message. It's really complicated to explain what I have been through and why I am here right now. Right. But it was really, really, really intense and taxing on me. And I kind of unraveled. And then I came to this place after starting to work on myself. I started to learn my behaviors, my responses, how I was responding to people, lashing out on people, just all of these things. I started to actively work on it and try to correct myself to better myself and my quality of life. And in turn, last year, it was beyond an unmasking. It was it really did unmask who I am at my very core. And I am still adjusting to me. So it's been quite the transformative experience. And what I now know, what I've experienced, first of all, I'm not just going to talk about it casually, because you have to understand me. You have to understand the intellect that I now possess that I did not have before. You have to understand that I have the ability to track patterns across multiple domains and input information and conclude possible outcomes. That I'm just ahead of my time in what I say. And that's why I am so hated and so not received, because I speak truths about people, about situation, about systems, about whole, I don't know, humanity as a whole that makes people uncomfortable. So I become all these things. And so anyways, what I now know, and what now the knowledge that I possess, I am moving forward and I am doing something with it. So, like I said, it's beyond me. That's why I am going to start my own podcast. I've already started because I have a lot to say, and I have a lot that needs to be heard by whoever is fucking with me, because I know who I am now. There are people out there like me, but it is going to be rare to find those people that can process and, I don't know, track things the way, yeah. So that, in a nutshell, that is where I'm at. I'm able to hold multiple perspectives, multiple views. I can see myself. I can see you. I can see her. I can see the environment. I can see the nuances that happens in the transitions in nature, in biology, in technology, in human evolution, like all of it, all of it. I see the geometry and the stars. I see it all now. So that's what happened. This wasn't just a spiritual awakening. This was a full fucking excavation of and unmasking of who I am. I don't know. I can't even explain it.
Was there at any point, well, real quick before I ask you this question, the whole thing of like people like not liking you or hating you on like what you believe or what you think, like, to me, I've always believed that saying of like, if people don't like you, you're doing something right, because of the fact that you're not doing anything at all that actually affects them. They just are bothered by the fact of your just mere existence. That shows like that's them needing to do some self-work. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so used to the norm. So so the fact that like you're not a normie like them and you think outside of that box, it's like, oh, well, you're tripping or you're crazy or you're this or you're that. No.
Yeah.
You know, so
no.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And because I am able to put things together and that's why I am a life coach, which I am now officially certified. Anyways, because you can tell me some things and I can then tell you exactly what you need to do to help yourself fix your situation, what a possible outcome can be, what a possible consequence is. I can do that all very fast. And so in the past, since I'm able to do this, I have spoken and said things to people that they have not been ready for. And I've been well ahead of my time when I've said it to them. And it has cost me a lot. And so now I am learning how to deliver what I know without like I said, I realized I've spent my whole life being palatable for people and really covering up the parts of myself that were different, because it's not okay to be different in that way. So I'm just realizing I spent all this time trying to fit in, drinking, having a very large, big mouth and opinion, but from experiencing so much rejection and so much hate from adults as a child into adulthood, like I said, I have been like really second guessing everything about myself and who I am. And, when you go through life, people tell you who you are. Right. And so I'm like, I am this person. I am. I'm supposed to be this kid. I'm supposed to be this adult. But now I'm like, girl, you are who you are. And you have always been this person. But now it's like a skyscraper with every scaffolding light on. Mm-hmm. It's like that. So,
have you lost friends behind this at all? Have you lost some relationships?
It is clarity is the loneliest. It is the loneliest spot, place, whatever clarity is, to possess that is so lonely. It is so threatening to people. Kel, all of my relationships have shifted. Every last one of them. When you go through a full transformation, nothing stays the same in your life.
Right.
I don't know. When you change, you no longer accept the same things. You don't tolerate the same type of behavior. I don't know, the same type of things. And so, yeah, I've had to enforce boundaries. Some relationships have changed in the most profound way, the most beautiful way ever. I'm talking about the relationship with my mother.
That's great.
I know. When you truly, really do transform, this is what happens.
Yeah, that's great.
You can finally. It took about 5 years of a lot of going through and naming things that happened, and I had to rebalance the relationship. So it wasn't the mother-daughter. It is woman to woman now. And my mom sees me in my fullness, and she has never seen me before, but she does now. That's great. There is a new level of, I don't know. Yeah.
No, yeah, I think that's so great, because it's like, we all know, like, we're never going to be able to convince everybody. We're not going to be able to, always get everybody on board. And that's all has to do with someone else's individual journey. Like, that's their journey. And when it happens on their journey, it will happen. One thing that my dad told me that not too long ago, and, my dad had a stroke earlier this year, and he's just, I don't know, become very wise with his words. And he explained to me, he was like, son, he goes, there are just some things in this life that some people will just never understand until the next one. And you cannot force them to try to get them to get it or understand. He's like, because right now, that might not be part of their journey. So with the experiences that you've been having and this change you've been going through, how would you say it has affected you in a positive way as a mother? Has it given you more patience, more understanding when it comes to your children?
I am completely, it's just different. I parent the same, but I parent with even more presence, and I parent with even more intention. And now I am sharper with what I say like what I'm able to just kind of help them navigate things a little bit faster because I can, I don't know. Like I said, because I'm moving with intention. It's, I don't know. It's just fascinating when I talk to my daughter who's at Chapman, and every discussion that we have, and when I say things, she's like, yeah, I read about that in a book. My professor said that. Yeah, that's what we're studying, Mom. Yeah, I told them you knew that, Mom. I like it's like that. And so it's just different. It's a more wise, grounded, well-rounded, even more well-rounded parenting. And I have let go of a lot of the stuff that I was doing for them to free myself. And that, like I told you, I got topics on topics on topics on topics.
Do you feel like with your parenting now, like, because like with most parents, I feel like they move and I guess they just parent off of instinct, and instead of parenting off of instinct, you're parenting now off of intention?
I'm parenting off of intention, and I have actively broken generational patterns and cycles that
That's good.
impacted me. And so now I'm very aware of how I am raising and teaching my kids. So I've intentionally broken some of these cycles so my kids will never have to figure out their identity. Hopefully they'll never have to struggle so badly that they almost lose themselves in the process. And I don't know, that's kind of what it is and how it's been. And I've always been a very open parent. A lot of parents would never agree with my parenting, but all I have to say is look at my kids.
Come on now.
I guess since there's only one way to raise your fucking kids, look at mine. Yeah. And it's not bragging. It's not ego. It is just solid. It's just allowing my children to develop their own identity. That's what I didn't have when I was a child. When I say when you grow up, everybody tells you who you are. Well, that's what happened to me. And I was put into these boxes and and like I said, I wasn't allowed to be me. So here I am at 40 years old, like, well, who the fuck am I? Like, what? I'm a mom, I'm a wife, but I'm a college graduate. But other than like, who? What? Okay, what else? What else? Now I know what else. And so, yeah. I'm watching my kids live much more. Wow.
Do you think, Jess, like, because like when you and I don't know, maybe because like you and I kind of have the similar backgrounds of being raised Black and Catholic, middle class in Seattle. Mm-hmm. So like, I feel like I don't know, a lot of that was like my life, like. You try to get fit into these boxes of what you're supposed to be. So like in my family, since I was the oldest grandson, I was supposed to be like my uncle, who was the pride and joy of our family, who, by the way, my uncle's a great dude. Never had a crossroads guy in the life. My uncle Reggie's awesome. Love the guy.
Right.
But that was the whole thing, was like growing up was like, I needed to be like Reggie. And I'm like, I'm not Reggie. Like, I'm not him. Like I'm not him. Like, I have very different parents. I was raised in very different circumstances. Like, I'm not him. Right. And so, like, not being him, or not, I guess, taking the route in life that he took, like, it was almost at times I felt like I was looked at as like second class or like a failure, because like it was like what they wanted.
Right.
Right. It had nothing to do ever at any point of what I wanted. It was what they wanted. And then it's that whole like, well, this is what they wanted for me for life because they felt like this is what was best for me.
Yes.
But it's like, that's not me. Like, that's not who I am. And I feel like, yeah, like, and I say this, and I mean, a lot of other people in the world and around the country have probably gone through this exact same thing. But I swear to God, Jessica, there is something about being Black, being raised Black and Catholic in the Northwest. And I don't think like people can like wrap their head around that. A lot of people don't get it because all of us are all descendants of people for the most part that were Black and Catholic that came from Louisiana. All of us, like our grandparents, all that. So it's this So a lot of y'all don't know. So there was this huge migration of African American people, Black people that moved to the Northwest. All that came from Louisiana.
My people.
And what's crazy is all of our grandparents all knew each other and all like came up, and then for some reason all at some point migrated to Seattle, right? Part of the Great Migration, right? The many great migrations of Blacks in the United States going north, right? But there is just something about us Black Catholics that most of us got our Creole or got some Native in us that all come from Louisiana, and we have this thing where our families came to Seattle for better lives and had better lives, but then when it came to us, there was just like this weird thing where like, and it's like you have these Black kids that
it's fear.
We're not, it's fear, and it's like we're not like other African Americans and Black folks around the country, unless maybe you're in California or New York. But like with us, it was like we grew up around Filipinos, Cambodians, Thai, Vietnamese kids, East Africans. I remember when my mom said when she first got to Seattle, that was the first time she ever seen an Asian person when she was a kid. And they were like shocked. They were like, oh my God. Right. But for us, like that's what we grew around. So we grew around we were so cultured. You know what I'm saying? We grew around all these different cultures. Right. So like for us to be put in these weird boxes, it's like, no. Like I can't do that. I'm too cultured. Like I'm too like you know what I mean? Like I'm influenced by so much, and I'm around all these different things, and I'm a sponge.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
but I like you said,
you get that. Like you get.
There was a unique thing. Like if you ask any Black Catholic up in here, everybody would probably understand that what you're talking about, and I think that, like I said, there is a lot of fear, and coming up here, maybe migrating up here, and the opportunities that they had to fight for and do all that kind of stuff. When you have kids, and remember, the church is the foundation. It's the only way. It's the way to everything. Oh God, I have chapter books about that. But anyways,
this is good. This is good. This is great.
I've got something to say about everything, Kel. You should know that by now. But I understand. They're like, you are going to go to this church. You're going to get God. You're going to get this education. You're going to get in this box. You're going to be successful. Like every parent's goal is for their child to be independent, and all of everybody that had to make that great migration and settle, I think the adaptation, whatever that had to happen. And we were there was unintended consequences for us. And look at, there's so many people oh my God, anyways. So yeah.
But like, isn't it funny though? Cause it's like, and this is for the audience so they have a better understanding. I think a lot of it is, our parents coming from the South, right? Assimilation is a huge part of it. Absolutely.
That's
our families coming from the South.
Assimilation.
Absolutely. Our families are coming from the South. Our parents growing up in Jim Crow, right?
Absolutely.
And then knowing what it is that they know, coming here and then and still kind of having that mindset, and then teaching us like what it's, you know, they're only as good as what they know, right?
Yeah.
So like they're so used to, like, you know, I remember the very first time I ever had a racial incident with a kid or whatever, and you know, my grandparents looked at it as, well, just ignore them and walk away. And I'm like, no. I'm like, this isn't 1943. I'm not going to get lynched if I punch this kid in the face. Like, he was disrespectful, right? But they're so used to handling things a certain way because where they come from, you might have gotten strung up and killed, right?
Yeah.
So you're only as good as what you know, right? And then for us, we're in this diverse place where, like, I can be at Othello Park playing basketball, dodging bullets, but then I can walk literally 5 blocks down to Rainier and up to Seward Park, and I'm around $5 million homes on Lake Washington. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's one of those, you can go right around the corner and you're like, oh my God, like, this is, you know what I mean? This is not Holly Park. You know what I'm saying? So like, we just, and it was just, yeah. And so like, it's like, we live in these places where I almost feel like, yeah, like I lived in the hood with a bunch of black people, but there was a lot of poor Asian people. We all lived amongst each other, I guess is what my point is. So it's just so much different from like what our parents and what our grandparents were used to. It's pretty much was my point. So it just, I think I made it hard for them to kind of gauge it because they were so used to what it was that, you know, they had to. So.
Right. They had to, then they're trying to, you know, bring us up. It just, I don't know. They did their best. That's an excuse. But you know what? This is how reality is created. This is why when people say you shape your own reality, this is it. That was their reality. They only know that. And like you said, you only know what you know, and you don't know until you know. Right. And so when you operate, when all of this input creates your reality and how you see things, that's how this all happens. And then you push that then your kid is exposed to that same kind of reality and that thinking, but maybe that kid is different and sees it differently. But the parent is like, you got to see it my way. And that's where we get lost. And that's where parents don't really see their children because they see them as extensions of them and not really a child that is going to develop into their own single individual, just like them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, taking it back to my parenting, that is why I have really, I guide my children. I keep them alive. I tell them what to do. I tell them what not to do. But ultimately, this is their lives. And they're going to experience things. They're going to go through things. They're going to fail. They're going to do all these things. And I can't necessarily save them from that. I cannot stop them from sinning and doing bad things. And well, they're not doing bad things. But, you know, I'm just allowing them to develop. I'm not pushing any ideology on them. You know, that's another thing. We're told what to believe, too, before we even get a chance to formulate it.
Oh, wait. I got something on that. So, like, I remember I was at my old barber in Seattle, like, long time ago. And we had this conversation because he's Muslim. Mm-hmm. And a couple of the people barbers over there were Christian. And so I told him, I said, hey, I was like, how did you develop your belief? Was it just, did you felt like you had this like epiphany and this connection? Or was it because your parents told you it was the right thing and their parents told them it was the right thing? And then your great grandparents told them it was the right thing. So just because they all thought it was the right thing, you believe it's the right thing? Yep. Like, so it's just like, it's almost like when like being Catholic and you get baptized as a baby. I didn't have a choice in that.
Nope.
Maybe I didn't want that. I'm not,
Right.
I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm just hypothetically.
No, Kel,
like,
you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you don't want to believe that way. Maybe you don't want to have a relationship with God in that way that somebody tells you how to do it. You want to experience it for yourself.
Right. I want to be able to seek that. I want to go and seek that myself. So then I then feel like I have the connection, that I have this my personal relationship with God and the creator or the source, whatever you want to call it. Right. And so I just feel like it's just like, well, no, this is just the right thing to do. Like, this is your faith because like, this is what you were told it was supposed to be. And
it's one way to do things. It's one.
Right.
Just like my way of parenting. That's one.
Right.
Church, religion, Christianity, Catholicism, Baptist. First of all, these are all choices that you make. You choose to be these things. These things are not you. They're not on you. They're not in you. They are choices.
Right.
And
religion's man-made. That's the man-made part. That's the part that humans created. Right.
Right. Well,
humans didn't create. Yeah, go ahead.
Humans created the idea of God. Why do you think? How do you think all this happened? Do you think it's like people during that, everything that happens in life, we don't know how it happens, why it happens. We don't know why the sun shines. We don't know why the sky is blue. But God, then we know why. Then we have a reason. Then it's like, everything makes sense, right? But taking it back to what you said, when you are born, you do not know. You have no idea. Right. You don't know that anything exists. You're told.
Mm-hmm. That goes back to my, we're going a little long, but I'll end it with this. This goes back to I don't want to call it a theory, but I tell folks this, and audience, process this any way you'd like, because I don't care. So hear me out.
Fuck it.
If you close your eyes and you don't see anything, right? Does this actually exist? The only reason you are able to see the things around you and see the world that you live in is because it's the reflection of light off of your eyes, right? So if I don't have that reflection, it's all light. It's all light and energy, right? So if I don't have that light, does this actually really exist? You have never actually seen yourself from the outside looking in, because your body is the vessel that your soul and your chi has to be inside of to be able to move about in this dimension, right? So
because of gravity.
Right. So does this actually really exist? So that's when you get all these theories of like the string theory, the hologram theory. You get all these things. You get all like, oh, maybe we're just in an ancient computer. Maybe we are an ancient computer system that is just downloaded onto this consciousness, and it's just this interworking thing, right?
It is.
And I challenge people to really sit with yourself and really think about that. Think about your body, your skin, your all of this, right? The only way you're ever able to see yourself is in a reflection. And the only reason you see that reflection is because of light. So is this really what we say it is? Because here's the thing, is that certain predators see tiger stripes in green, but you and I see it in orange, because it's a reflection of light.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, we're so conditioned and we're so like, I don't know, that we can't accept something than what yes, Kel.
Jess, this was a great conversation. I was very honored to have this conversation with you.
Kel.
We need to do more of this.
Thank you.
We need to do more of this. I think this was great. This was awesome. I rock with you. You're like fam to me. I might not be to you, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we've been doing this for so long. Like, I feel like I treat you guys like fam. Always have you guys' best
I already told you.
And I
said everything. I absolutely respect you for who you are, what you've done, and how you've carried.
Yeah, but I'm just very happy from where I first met you till now, up until now, and just seeing the evolution and just everything and where you're at now, and you being able to just on public forums sit down and like have this conversation and be open and vulnerable like this, like, no, I think this is dope. I think this is great, and I respect you so much for it. So I just wanted to tell you that.
I appreciate that, Kel. Really. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Truly Unruly, y'all. Marcus Trufant, Jessica Trufant. My name is Kel. Remember us, follow us on all things social at Truly Unruly _podcast. Jess, where can people find you if they want coaching and they want to talk a little deeper? Or maybe they might just have questions and they want to DM you questions. Where can people find you?
What's my Instagram? Isn't it Jessica _Trufant? Did I?
I thought you changed. I thought you changed it. It's Jessica
See, I'm not there.
Trufant, or it's Jessica _life coach. I think you
no,
changed.
No. It's just Jessica _Trufant.
All right.
But it says
Jessica
I'm a life coach.
Trufant.
That's another thing. I told you, Kel, that I started recording my own podcast myself. It is fucking full freestyle. There is no structure. Anyways.
Good.
So
that's rawest and purest form.
That's my page is about to be. We're about to be switching all that too.
So people but people need to follow you to follow your journey, follow this journey if they're going through their own journey. Because at the end of the day, like, people don't want to go through these kind of things alone, and they want to know that, hey, I'm not by myself when I'm going through this, and they want to understand and have understanding. So yeah,
you're not alone, even if they're, and it's always about being open to learn and, give and receive and all of these things as far as information and just how to survive life. Shit.
Yeah.
It's tough. It is tough.
Well, shoot. Like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform. And, of course, you can catch the visual on YouTube. Boom. All right, y'all. Till next time, peace and much love.